Welcome back to Let's Play Virtue's Last Reward. We're gonna have a word or two with Dio, but not exactly in a place where we can really bargain with him or anything. Yeah.
Sigma, you've only got one BP right now. If we choose ally and he chooses betray...
I know. I'll drop to -1, that means I'll get
But
penalized.
that means...
Look, it's not like I want to, alright? If we don't do as he says, then he'll destroy the medicine. If he does that, then Quark will...
So you're going to die to save his life? That's... Why would you do that?
In all honesty, I was terrified. My choice is far from a foregone conclusion. Well, we should get back to the upper floor. Everybody else is probably finished already. I bet they're waiting for us. I didn't wait for Clover's response. What are we gonna do, guys? This is rough. Yep, they always gotta have us follow the little blip on the map the entire way. Just so we're really double sure we know exactly where we're going every time, so we don't get lost. Because if we just go from there to the warehouse, we'll be lost as to how we got here.
An ambidex gate has been opened. 45 minutes remain until ambidex game polling closes.
Oh, must have been Dio.
Sorry, I went ahead and cracked it open a bit early.
Dio. One of his hands was a moon key. Twirled it around like a veteran gambler, grinned and slid it back into his pocket.
You don't mind, right? I figured you and Clover would get up here right away. Besides, I thought it'd be best to get this done soon before you lose your nerve. I don't know about you, I'm really looking forward to the next round.
Ugh. He glanced around the warehouse. Alice and Kay were back. As was Phi. And of course, Clover. Where are Tenmyoji and the rest of them?
They're in the infirmary.
We carried Quark to one of the beds. Tenmyoji and Luna are looking after him.
I see.
How's he doing?
Well, it's hard to say. He seems to be sleeping soundly, but beyond that, there's really no way to know.
No change then, huh?
Right. So what was your room, Sigma?
Laboratory.
Is that so?
Did it look like the kind of place where they'd be researching viruses and DNA and those kinds of things?
Yeah, it did.
Was there any of that Excelavir?
Don't tell those other idiots that you found some Excelavir in here. I hear one word about it, and the next thing you hear will be little bits of glass shattering on the floor.
Eyes flicked at Dio for a moment. No, nothing. Beside me, Clover bit her lip.
I see.
So how'd it go with you? Find anything interesting? Valley shook her head. With the use of movement that almost looked choreographed, Alice and Kay shrugged.
Where does that leave us? We still got about 40 minutes left until voting ends.
What are you gonna do?
I'm a little curious about that lab you found. I thought I might go take a peek at it.
I'll show you the way then.
That would be wonderful.
I think I'll go have a look at the room Alice Kay and Tenmyoji found. Never know. Maybe you missed something. Perhaps there's some Excelivir hidden somewhere in there.
Ooh, you. Gah.
Then
What
I
a
shall
piece
take
of
you
work he is.
What
That
about you two?
Dio.
Where are you going?
I think I'll start by heading over to the infirmary to see how Quark's doing.
Then I will too.
Glad that's settled.
She nodded to Clover and they disappeared through the magenta door. You think she's gonna tell Alice about it? D&K followed a few footsteps behind. Oh. Man, this sucks. Okay then. Guess we should be going too.
Hold on. Show me that journal first. Dio told me about it. You wouldn't tell me anything about the lab, except that you found a journal with, his words, some sort of bullshit language. You said you
Portuguese,
had it, so
actually.
I was hoping I could take a look.
Yeah. One sec. Dug the journal in my pocket and handed it to Phi. She began to flip through the pages, her eyes quickly scanning each one.
This is Latin.
Latin? You mean you can read it?
Yeah, with time and a dictionary.
So in other words, no.
Pardon me for not being able to translate a dead language on the fly. This looks like some kind of research log. It's not gonna be some sort of, I took the dog for a walk today.
Well, you don't know that.
It was nice kind of stuff. I can understand a little of it, mostly conjunctions and things like that. But most of these words I've never even seen before.
I started to leaf through the book again as she spoke. Suddenly she stopped.
Wait. I can read this one. Page 216. This isn't research.
Open your
notes.
textbooks, class. Page
It looks like a
216.
personal entry.
What's it say?
Don't rush me. This is gonna take a minute. Interesting. Alright, I think I got it.
Cool waiting segment game. Very cool.
It looks like they're talking about Radical 6.
Of course. Everything revolves around Radical 6 all of a sudden. What? Why are they talking about that?
Not sure. Let me read it to you. Keep in mind I'm paraphrasing.
When the body is infected with Radical 6, the processing speed of the brain is reduced. If we assume the brain currently operates on a 1-to-1 basis with regards to time, Radical 6 reduces it to 1 to the root of 1/6, or approximately 1.0408. This means that for each second that passes outside, the patient feels that only 0.408 seconds have passed inside. Therefore, when 1 second has passed inside, approximately 2.45 seconds, or root 6 seconds, have passed outside. In other words, when 10 seconds pass in the real world, the patient infected with Radical 6 would feel as if only 4 seconds had passed. That's why the virus has been termed Radical 6. Radical is another term for what is known as the root operation, the function inverse of taking a power. Ah, Radical 6. In less mathematical sense, it can also be used to refer to something that is extreme or severe. Those affected by Radical 6 eventually develop a powerful urge to commit suicide. The exact cause of this is unclear, and although there is as yet no direct link between suicidal urges and the reduction in mental processing speed, many believe they are not unrelated. Those infected with Radical 6 perceive the world to be moving at a fever pitch, as if it were a video cassette being fast-forwarded. Yeah, so we can safely say that Quark was in fact infected with Radical 6. For instance, although the patient believes that only 10 seconds have passed, in fact 2.45 seconds have passed. Sorry, 24.5. Given this increased speed of input, maintaining the ability to observe and reason would become a Herculean task. One theory holds that disparity in time perception causes the brain to be flooded with massive amounts of information, unable to keep up against the fail. Whatever the cause, the infected invariably attempt to take their own lives, which is arguably the most terrifying aspect of this virus. Research suggests that a targeted antiviral could kill at least or disable Radical 6. We've been unable to develop one. Seems our best hope now is to harvest antibodies from some with a natural immunity to the virus. Thus far, however, we've been unable to locate a suitable subject, so I've continued my efforts to discover an alternative means of treatment. Given my current rate of progress, predict that I'll have a workable treatment within a decade or two. It's my fervent hope that humanity will be able to survive that long. Okay, something's really up here. Something timeline-wise is acting a bit all weird, like. The bodies of those dead from suicide are piled up along the roads leading into and out of town. The entire area reeks of the stench of decay, and the sky is filled with the constant buzzing of flies. At times their swarms are so thick that when one passes it feels as if a cloud has gone over the sun. Every day I see more crows, and rats are everywhere feeding on the dead. Ironically, the only healthy-looking creatures are the stray cats, who have grown fat on a plentiful rodent diet. The few humans who survived the outbreak have been locked away by the government in underground shelters. I don't know how many were saved, but I fear only a handful. Their survival is the only hope that remains for the human race. Oh Lord, please, let their future be a bright one. Yeah, timeline's looking a bit weird. A little weird here. Well, that's a lot of information. Now we know what the virus does to you, though. If you get infected, your brain slows down by the root of 1/6. That's, what, about 40%?
That isn't the important part.
Yeah, I agree, Sigma. I mean, I agree, Phi. Sigma's kind of caught up in the math part.
Radical 6 eventually develop a powerful urge to commit suicide.
Yeah, you're right. That would explain why Quark was, well, trying to kill himself.
There are two other things in here that worry me. First, the part about how they haven't managed to develop a treatment for it yet. What do you make of that?
What am I supposed to make of it? Maybe they just hadn't found one when this journal was written? I mean, for what we know, there's a drug called Xelavir that cures it.
Exactly. But in the journal it says it might take 20 years to make something like that.
Hold on a second. I'm getting confused. When was this thing even written?
December 29th. No year.
Well, there's no way it was written this year.
Yeah, probably not. Anyway, moving on. The second concern I have is about the underground shelters it mentions. The newspaper article said something about quarantining people too. After we read it, we all thought the same thing. What if this was one of those quarantine facilities? But this journal seems to suggest the opposite. The few humans who survived the outbreak have been locked away by the government in underground shelters.
Trying to say that this place might be one of those underground shelters. Which would mean we're all supposed to be uninfected. We would have been thrown in here to keep us safe.
Yeah. I mean, there's no way to say for sure at this point, but it seems possible.
But our goal is to get out of here. So what's the deal, Zero? Quark's been infected, right?
Then maybe the virus got in somehow.
That'd be bad.
Just think about it for a minute. If this is one of those shelters, a lot of things start to make sense. Maybe we've been here for a long time.
Uh-oh.
Like, maybe they put us to sleep somehow. Made us sleep for years, maybe even decades. While we were sleeping, the pandemic that the newspaper article talked about happened. And whoever had this journal made this entry.
And then once the antiviral treatment was finished, they woke us up?
Right. It's all just speculation, but...
No, that doesn't make sense. I mean, it seems like a pretty plausible scenario, but we were all captured before the pandemic started, right?
Yeah.
How would they have put us to sleep for that long? How have they known to do that? Most importantly, why the heck are we playing the nonary game if the point of the place is to save us? Yeah, exactly. Throwing a bunch of people into a game that might kill them is a pretty weird way to protect them from a pandemic.
Yeah, you're right.
See? See, Sigma's not that
We don't have
stupid.
enough information to make any real conclusions. I think we should see if we can find anything else.
If I had barely finished speaking before she took off for the magenta door. Hey, weren't you coming to the infirmary with me?
I've changed my mind. You can tell me about Quark later.
Alrighty. Of that. She was gone. Man. A long tired sign star off towards the infirmary. Yeah, me too, Sigma. How's he doing?
He seems to be stable, as far as I can tell.
Still sleeping.
I see. Mind if I have a look?
Please, go ahead.
Made my way around the partition to the side of Quark's bed. The journal thing fine I talked about definitely need to be addressed. But for the moment, the AB game is what I need to concentrate on. Lives are at stake. Mine. And Quark's. Those infected by Radical 6, yeah. The journal was telling the truth, that as soon as the anesthetic wore off, Quark would go insane again. What if we weren't able to restrain him a second time? What if he managed to kill himself before he got to him? Perhaps he'd just get out of the infirmary and go hide somewhere. On the other hand, it wasn't like we could keep anesthetizing him forever. That's a word. There's only one way to save Quark. That was with Excelivir. Fortunately, Dio had stolen it. If we wanted to get it back, Clover and I would have to vote ally. If I did, there's an excellent chance I would end up dead. The question was, then, what to do? Sacrifice myself to save Quark? Or keep quiet about the danger he was in to save myself? It was so faint I almost didn't hear it.
Grandpa.
She shifted a little and fell silent again. It was enough, though. What on earth had I been thinking? How could I have even considered letting a child die in my place? Suddenly my cheeks felt hot with embarrassment and disgust. I considered letting Quark die even for a minute was pathetic. There was only one choice. There had only ever been one choice. No way was I going to leave Quark to die. Hands tightened to fists as I looked down at him. Any uncertainty I'd felt before was gone. I knew what I had to do.
10 minutes remain until Ambidex game polling closes. All players, please enter your votes. If no vote is recorded before the deadline has passed, any non-voting parties will automatically ally.
Looks like it's almost time. You two should head back.
What about you?
Not going. I'm worried about Quark.
But you're a solo. If you don't vote...
I'll automatically ally. I know. I heard the voice on the intercom just like you.
What are you gonna do if Kay and Alice vote betray?
Nothing, I suppose. Just means I lost that round. I'd just be voting ally anyway. You know who my opponents are, right? Alice only has one BP left. If I pick betray and they chose ally, I'd kill her. I'm not so desperate to escape that I'm gonna kill someone for it. And even if I was, I can't leave Quark behind. You see? Doesn't matter if I go into the AB room or not. My vote's the same either way.
Tomioji's mind was made up. Trying to persuade him to leave would have been pointless. Alright. Take care of Quark.
Of course. You worry about yourself.
I sure will. Let's go.
Okay.
Lou and I headed out of the infirmary, leaving Tenmyoji and Quark behind. Oh boy. We got to the warehouse and found everyone else waiting for us. Well, not quite everyone. One other person was missing. Hey, where's Dio?
Take a look at the doors.
They're all closed. I came in here before one on the far right was open.
And that would mean...
That he went in, I guess.
Exactly.
That piece of work. He'd probably been worried I might try to take the Excalibur from him by force, so he'd hid himself in the AB room. What a coward. Made up my mind to choose Ally no matter what, but part of me would still consider trying to jump Dio if he dropped his guard. Now I'd made sure I wouldn't get the chance to try.
Where's Tenmyoji?
Oh,
Luna explained Tenmyoji's choice.
I see. Well, I guess that means I don't have to worry about him picking Betray.
right. What will you guys be choosing then?
Ally, of course.
Because my BP is 6, I assume.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah, Kay could get 9 and just get out of here.
Yes. As long as Tenmyoji votes Ally, I can't choose Betray. If I do, Kay's BP will go up to 9.
But what if he forces you?
You needn't worry.
That's not a comforting laugh, Kay.
I would never do something so crass.
Would you, though? I suddenly don't trust Kay like at all.
Really?
Of course.
Then you don't need to go in there.
Excuse me?
Alice can vote by herself. Then we don't have anything to worry about, right?
Well,
Yeah, Kay?
I apologize, but I'm afraid I can't agree to that.
Why not?
I just can't. Shall we go, Alice?
Hey, hold on a minute there.
Kay continued briskly towards the AB room as if he simply hadn't heard Phi. Alice scrambled to follow him, perhaps concerned that he would lock her out. Oh man. Only seconds later, they disappeared to the third room from the left.
I hope Alice is going to be okay.
Well, there's nothing we can do now. If Kay told the truth, she'll be fine.
If.
5 minutes remain until Ambidex game polling closes.
So, if we pick Ally, then both Kay and Dio will be able to get out.
Time's almost up. Come on, Luna.
Right.
They head off at a trot towards the second room from the right, and we're soon out of sight inside it. Alright, Clover. Time for us to go.
Oh, okay. Right behind you.
I sighed to myself and head towards the leftmost AB room. Well, here we go, I guess. Let's do this.
What are you gonna do?
I don't really have a choice, do I? There's only one thing I can do. I'm going to choose Ally.
You can't! You'll die!
Well, you never know. Just because Dio told us to Ally doesn't necessarily mean he's going to pick Betray.
Do you really think a jerk like that is going to choose Ally if he doesn't have to? No. No way. He's got 6 BP right now. If he picks Betray, then he'll have 9 points.
Well, what about you?
Huh?
You got 6 BP too, right? If Dio chose Ally and we chose Betray, then you'd have 9 BP.
What? No, that's not... I didn't even realize that until you brought it up. I'm just trying to tell you that Dio is going to pick Betray. That's who he is.
I'm trying to tell you that I've made up my mind. That's who I am. Alright, Shadow. This is who I am. The only choice is Ally. It's the only chance we have to get that Messin back.
That's why Dio called you an IG. What makes you think he's going to give us the Excalibur, even if you do what he says?
Maybe he won't, but I can guarantee he'll destroy it if I pick Betray. That's who he is.
Fine. If you aren't gonna listen to me, then I guess I don't have a choice. I'll be pushing that button.
Huh? Before I realized what was going on, Clover ducked past me and ran towards the voting machine. No! Stop! I snatched her by the arm and hauled her backwards with all my strength.
Ow!
Sorry. I guess that's a little too hard, huh?
Hey! What do you think you're doing? You can't just throw a girl around like that.
Oh, you're the one who tried to trick me.
But you're gonna die! Dio's going to kill you! You can't do this! I don't want you to die.
Ten seconds remain until Ambidex game polling closes.
Thanks. Means a lot to hear you say that, Clover. Gave her my best reassuring nod and turned to face the polling machine.
3, 2, 1.
There really was only ever one choice.
Round 2 of the Ambidex game has been completed. Results will be displayed in the warehouse. Thank you for your participation. Ambidex gates now opening.
Clover and I stepped out of the AB room. For several long moments, we just stared at one another. Words weren't necessary. Everything she would have tried to tell me, I could already see in her eyes. Let's go. Turned and head towards the results screen.
Sigma.
Heard her behind me, her voice barely louder than a whisper. The choice was already made. Stood up straight and kept walking. Exactly as we'd expected.
Results from round 2 of the Ambidex game will now be displayed. Please check your bracelet to see your updated bracelet points.
What?
Sigma's BP is...
Negative.
Suddenly all eyes were on me. I felt their weight but stood my ground. It was the result I had expected. I took a deep breath and closed my eyes. I didn't have to wait long. There was a sharp, quick pain in my wrist, barely even noticeable. I couldn't feel anything flowing in my veins, but I knew it was there. First would be the anesthetic Soparel. I blinked and my vision started to blur. When I tried to think, it felt like my mind had been stuffed with cotton. My legs began to wobble and gave out entirely as I crumpled to the floor.
Sigma! Sigma! Hang on! Hey! Sigma! Get up!
Sigma!
Oh no! Oh no, oh no, oh no!
Trying to lift my eyelids was like trying to lift sheets of lead. My eyes had lost the ability to focus, but I could make out a blur that had to be Dio in front of the number 9 door. Dang it. You'll keep your promise! I groaned, and with a Herculean effort, I lifted my head and my sluggish body off the floor. Every step was a battle, and whenever I shifted my weight, my muscles threatened to give out again. But somehow I forced myself ahead, a single thought burning in my mind. I would reach Dio. Then at last, the smudge of color faded into a recognizable person. I threw out my hand in front of him. Give it back! Give me the medicine!
Give it back? Don't act like it's yours. Aren't we supposed to share everything we find here?
I don't care. Just hand me the medicine.
What are you talking about?
We found the Excelivir in the laboratory.
And Dio stole it.
What?
You mean he has it? Right now?
Yeah. So?
I kept my promise. Now you. I wasn't a fool. I knew the kind of person Dio was. There's a chance he wouldn't give us back the Excelivir. If he didn't, I dived my hands around his throat. I gathered as much of my mind as I could and got ready to attack.
Fine.
Not quite what I'd been expecting.
Here.
With a shrug, he pulled the vial out of his pocket and tossed it towards me. I caught and pulled the tiny glass bottle in my chest, worried I might drop it. The label said, unmistakably, Excelivir. It was the real thing. Clover, take it. Held it out towards her.
Right. Of course.
She quickly tucked it into her pocket. Good. Now at least Quark will be alright. With that, the last of my strength left me and I dropped to my knees.
Sigma! Are you okay? Sigma! Sigma!
I guess this is it.
First is the Soparil, which put you to sleep. 9 minutes later, the tubocurarine is injected, numbing your respiratory muscles. I guess you could say it'll really take your breath away.
9 minutes. Once the Soparil was injected, I had 9 minutes until the Muxor last and followed it. About 4 minutes already passed, which left me with 5, give or take a little. 5 minutes, I'd be dead. What could I do in 5 minutes? How could I save myself? Heh. Gave a raspy, quiet laugh. Even with death staring me in the face, I seemed to be determined to struggle right up until the very end. Okay, Sigma. You can do this. Clinging desperately to what little consciousness I had left, I racked my brain for any possible solutions. How could I save myself? How? There had to be something. Every problem, no matter how difficult, has a solution. There's always another option. Hopelessness is a state of mind. Just had to think. Think. If there's a way out, I'd find it. I wasn't ready to give up on life yet. There had to be an answer. To be continued. But what happens now? Well... Yup. Remember this? Do you remember this? Remember how long 999 was with its different endings? Then boy oh boy, do we have a treat for you. That's right. Gotta go back and do other routes. This one isn't done yet. We're locked out because we need something from one of the other routes. So let's go do that, how about? Wait, no, not this time. Let's do it next time. We've been through a lot. We've mostly finished a whole route. I think now's a good place to end the video. Next time, we'll figure out somewhere else to go. Oh boy. This is gonna be a long Let's Play. See you guys next time.